Hi, I'm Leslie Russell, and I am the founder and president of Next Generation Ministries Independent Learning Academy. And today I'm super excited to have a really special guest, and I know that he is going to bless and benefit so many of you who are watching with what he's created, what he's doing, what he has felt led to do. So I'm super excited to introduce our guest. His name is Neil Keena, and he is the founder of TeachHero. Hi, Neil.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really appreciate it. It's been really great, like working with you and just knowing you the past couple of years. And even before we get started, just want to say it's been such like an honor working with you and a privilege just watching ILA grow and everything you guys have been doing. It's been really amazing. So
that's so great.
I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you. I really feel that was like just a divine appointment, being able to come together even before just kind of like almost as COVID, the very beginning as it was like happening, and then it's just like everything where the world is today and how education is drastically changing, from TK all the way to high school, and then post-secondary education changing as rapidly as well. So the whole thing is just becoming so decentralized, and people feeling called to all the different areas of education, whether it's homeschooling or looking to just do a better model, or just resurrecting kind of like our public education system. Whatever it is, we're all kind of called to a different place. And I know ILA is definitely looking to innovate and to change. Also, it being just centered on Jesus and Spirit-filled and everything about the kingdom. So with that, I know that there's a lot of people who are going to be watching this, and they have like their specific calling, their specific educational platform that they're looking to be able to make it so that they can be more efficient. So can you kind of tell us what you do and just the genesis of TeachHero and the vision that you have for it?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'm a software engineer, and I've been a software engineer for almost 20 years. So I look younger than I am, hopefully. And I've worked in a lot of different industries, mostly in nonprofit sector and working with ministries. But I have worked in education sort of on and off, and sort of the tech area. One of the first kind of big apps I ever built was actually for like an online school for this ministry. So it was pretty interesting in my early days. But one of the things that I'm extremely passionate about is I love partnering with people who have big vision to change the world, to change things. And when I look back kind of on my life and the organizations and the companies that I've been a part of, it's always been people who are starting something new and wanting to make a difference. And I love coming alongside those people and using my skill set, using technology to help make those dreams a reality. And that's what I love about what ILA is doing. The homeschooling and schooling model, is kind of close to my heart, and I honestly didn't quite realize how close it was until I started getting more involved in it. But my background's kind of interesting, is I was homeschooled as a kid back in the 90s. It wasn't really popular. You were kind of categorized as oh, you're a homeschooler, you're weird. And but I'm grateful for the experience, and I was homeschooled all the way through, and went on to a community college. So didn't kind of do the traditional public school, university kind of route. But I've always been a self-starter, a self-learner. I'm a lifelong learner. I love to learn, love to read, and most of what I do today has been self-taught over the years. And so I love coming alongside entrepreneurs and visionaries and saying, how can I help you with technology make that become a reality? And that's really the heart, I think, behind starting TeachHero and the company. Is having spent time working with you and other people, I realized that there's so many other people out there with big dreams and visions, and maybe who want to do things a little differently. How can we do something as a company and resource them with the tools and the technology and the platform they need to make that dream a reality and come true?
Wow. That's so exciting, and I've seen it, and we've been blessed by it. So I love hearing that background story and just how God is partnering you with visionaries with that. So can you just kind of talk specifically about TeachHero, the platform that it is, and the different features that it has, and how it can that technology that's bringing to education, how it can help to take somebody's vision and make it become a reality?
Yeah, absolutely. I describe TeachHero as an all-in-one school management software for independent educators.
Okay.
So we're specifically trying to target the independent educators, those who are starting these hybrid homeschool groups, private schools, micro schools, private colleges, that sort of the independent sector of education. And this school management software, the idea of it being an all-in-one is creating a platform that's all-inclusive, that kind of has this holistic view of everything that you need to manage a school. There's a lot more involved to managing a school, as you know, than just the learning component. A lot of software out there is just heavily focused on the learning management system. So like, getting your assignments in there, homework, grade book, things like that, which is all great stuff and stuff that is really needed. But that's just only one component of managing a school. You not only have the learning component, but you've also got the entire admissions component.
Yeah.
And that can get really complicated depending on your model. And so you got to deal with, admissions, applications, registrations, collecting tuition, tracking tuition, managing tuition. There's a lot that goes into that. And so that's another module of it. But working with ILA and working with some other private schools, I've realized that there's even more other areas that need management. Cafeteria management. If you provide any kind of lunch to your students, or even meals for different events or summer school, summer camps, that's a whole other component that needs to be managed and connected with what you're actually doing, making sure that it's working in parallel with your class schedules and programs. And so we have another, feature or module, if you want to call it, for cafeteria management, as we refer to it. One of the things that's also unique with private schools and these independent educators is most of them are nonprofits, and so you're not receiving government funding, and so you need some way of raising funds.
Yeah.
And so there's that fundraising component. So not only are you running a school, but for a lot of people, you're also running a nonprofit. And I have a very extensive background in working with nonprofits and building donation platforms.
That's so great.
And so that's a whole other component that we're addressing, is like that need to raise funds as well. And then some too, I know ILA works a lot with volunteers. You depend heavily on a lot of your parents and students to volunteer. I also know too, working in some extension sites in private colleges. My wife actually ran a private college for about 6 years, and it was an extension site of Southeastern University. One of the things involved in that is practicum hours, tracking practicum hours.
Right.
And as a college student there in those type of programs, you got to get so many volunteer hours in. And so that's a whole other component that TeachHero will also be addressing, is tracking those volunteer hours. So there's a ton of features. We list a lot of what we do on our website, teachhero.com. But some of those are the major components. So we're kind of going after it's just that all-in-one kind of system, because we're talking with school administrators. The biggest thing I keep hearing that comes up is the frustration with having to use so many different tools.
Right.
I was talking with one school, they're using 6 different tools just to run their school, about 300 students.
Wow. Okay.
And, imagine doubling that size. There's only 300 students. It's a good sized school, but I mean, you get to 700, 800, 1,000 students, it's just insane. And the problem with having to use all these different tools is, one, it gets expensive because you're paying all these different subscriptions, they all work different ways. Sometimes certain tools just don't work, and they don't communicate with each other. Some of them do have some integrations in that, but that stuff's hard to work with. It's complicated, it breaks, it's fragile, and that's the biggest pain I always hear from administrators. Is I'm juggling all these different tools. I end up having to resort to using a spreadsheet or some paper system just to track things, when it's your software should be doing that for you.
Wow.
And then you got the aspect of the parents who are just frustrated that they have to have 6 different logins, and it's log in here or log in there. Well, it's if you're going to manage your kids' lunches, you got to log in here, but then you got to log in here to make a payment.
Yeah.
So we're trying to eliminate all those pain points and really make it as easy and as simple as possible. It should just work. You should just be able to log into your platform, and it just handles every aspect of your school management.
I love it. It's kind of reminding me of the planning center that churches use.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Kind of similar in that, it's kind of a one-stop shop where you can go there and it has everything that you need to manage your educational platform, your educational program. So I love the name. Tell me about the name.
Yeah, so I really struggled with the name for a long time. I kept trying to come up with a name probably for at least 6 months. I was brainstorming everything I could think of. You know, it's hard to come up with a name that, first of all, was available as like a .com domain,
right?
You know, and was something that was catchy, easy to remember, and kind of communicated the heart and the vision of it. And probably after about 6 months of searching and trying to go with other names, I stumbled across this one, and it just kind of hit me, and I was like, TeachHero, and I like that because one of the things we really want to do at the company is we want to position the educators, the teachers, the parents, those people who are involved in educating the next generation. We want to position them as the heroes in these kids' educational journey.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's really sad. I know there's a lot of controversy in schools, public schools right now, and unfortunately I feel like a lot of times the teachers end up becoming the targets, and it's really a shame because I think teachers are really special people.
Yeah.
And I don't think they should be villainized. Like, instead, you know, we want to position teachers as the heroes.
Yeah.
We also want to position parents as the heroes in their kids' journeys. And so I felt like the name really communicated exactly what we want to do as a company, is position the educators. You know, we're not the ones directly teaching children, we're just providing the tools. But you guys, the administrators, the educators, you're the ones that are changing education. You're the ones that are really making a difference in the world. And so our goal is to prop you guys up, to be that guide, to say, hey, you guys are the heroes that are going to change education forever.
Wow, that is so good.
Yeah.
I love that. And teachers are heroes. They're amazing. I always say that they're so selfless, and just the dedication that goes into it. It's so much more than just teaching during the day, like what they do at night and on weekends, and the planning and everything else. So just being a homeschool mom myself, and then even before that, being a teacher outside New York City, like I know the sacrifice and everything that goes into it. So even though now I'm more on the visionary founding, administrative side, like my heart is like so much for like those teachers, homeschooling moms, and also teachers in the classroom. And so I love the fact that name just really honors them in that, and because they truly are heroes.
They are.
So I think that's a beautiful combination of the two, to teach hero. And just looking around there, you know, I know myself personally, like I like would spend summers like just totally like researching and looking for like exactly like what we needed to have to run Independent Learning Academy, and I would find something that would do one component of it, but it wouldn't do all the other. So it was amazing to be able to find you, and to just like the platform that you built is amazing, and there's not a lot out there like it. It's really unique, and I know that there's others that are kind of like similar in some ways, but not to the extent of what you have. And so how are you evolving your program and the things like that? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, school management is nothing new. You know, a lot of what the TeachHero platform is doing, in a sense, isn't really anything new. I think we're taking a simpler approach to how everything just works seamlessly together, and not having to rely on integrations and other, pulling in extra other platforms and stuff like that to get the job done. Well, one of the really unique things about TeachHero is that we're hyper-focused on this new model of education, the hybrid homeschooling model, the independent school model, micro schools, private colleges. My point of view is I truly believe that's the future of education. I think education is going to continually become more privatized and more decentralized. And I think it's the best thing for education, because in a free market, innovation can thrive. Yeah. And when education has that kind of freedom, we're going to see so many amazing new methods and models and strategies for education, which means it will become less expensive, which is going to be good for everyone, right? It's going to get far more efficient. Parents are going to have a lot more choice and freedom in that. Educators are going to get paid better and get to do what they're passionate about. Yeah. That's what I'm excited about. It's like, as more and more people get involved in it, like, teachers are going to finally be able to do what they're passionate about without all the restraints and constraints on them, and being forced into this box. And so I love that there's going to be a lot more freedom in that. And then, as a result, kids are going to get a far better education. The quality of education is going to be so much higher. I mean, you think about a future where it's like when schooling like this has been privatized, it's been decentralized, it's this hybrid approach where you're getting the best of both. You're getting online and remote access to some of the greatest minds to teach you things, yet you're still getting that in-person component where, you're interacting with friends and people. So, because neither one in itself alone is really getting the job done. 100% online schooling really has failed, and there's a lot of reports coming out now that it's really set kids back with the pandemic and the shutdown. Having to go full remote has really hurt some kids, unfortunately. And so, that's our approach, is that we want to heavily support that hybrid model and not just be like, oh, we're just an online learning platform, or we're just going to focus on artificial intelligence that's going to figure out how to teach kids. It's like, we want to celebrate the uniqueness of every individual, whether it's kids' learning styles and teachers' teaching styles. We don't want to inhibit that. We just want to empower it.
Yeah, totally.
And so that's our primary focus. So this new model I think is very promising, but it also comes with a lot of brand new challenges. There's just new things that this new model of education is facing that traditional education isn't facing. Even just really practical stuff, like I mentioned before, like admissions gets really complicated. Well, it gets even more complicated with this type of model, because this new education model has to be far more flexible. You're not only offering opportunities to full-time students, but part-time students. You've got this mix, and you might have some people in your class who are part-time and other ones that are full-time. So it's just a whole new dynamic, and you've got to be far more price sensitive, because you've got people coming in from public school systems who maybe can't afford or aren't used to the cost of private schools. Private schools can get very expensive, and so you got to manage all these really unique dynamics. Working with independent teachers. So that's kind of what's unique about TeachHero, is it not only is it this all-in-one platform, but it's very hyper focused and geared towards this model of education. So we want to ultimately be the best and easiest choice for just starting, running, and growing a hybrid school.
Yeah, and we've experienced that. We've been doing this for 10 years. And so everything you're saying, because our teachers are, they are independent teachers coming in, teaching, and we guide and direct them with the curriculum. They bring in all their creativity, and we do have students in the classroom, some who are part-time just taking that high school biology class, and others who are like taking all of their core high school class. So you're so right on in that there is a dynamic there, but it is an amazing dynamic, and it is just flourishing, and it's just so exciting just seeing that education is going this way. And I'm just thank you so much for just creating this platform. I know it's blessed Independent Learning Academy, and it's enabled us to we're up to like 10 campuses for this fall.
Amazing.
And looking to go across the country. So if you're watching this and you want to have an ILA campus in your community, reach out to us, independentlearningacademy.org. And TeachHero, can you give the website? TeachHero?
Yeah, TeachHero.com.
TeachHero.com is where they're going to find you and find that platform.
Yeah,
and
right now we're still in development. We're actually launching our private beta just in a few weeks here from the time of this recording. And so they go to TeachHero.com. We list kind of the features we're offering, but they can sign up for that private beta and get in early.
Okay, that's so great. Thank you so much, Neil, for being here today. Really appreciate it. And so TeachHero.com, it's going to completely change education. It's going to help you with the vision that God has given you, and it's going to be your runway for that. So thanks so much for being here. Again, I'm Leslie Russell with Independent Learning Academy, and Neil Keena with TeachHero.